Hello, YouTube. Welcome to this video. I'm going to do a little communist test to see what type of communist I would be. It's a lighthearted test. You don't need to take it 100% seriously, but it's just going to be a fun little test for us to do. And if you like this video, please do like, comment, and subscribe. You can do that all down there. And hey, I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 p.m. Central European Time on twitch.tv/funwithfondue. You can find the link also down there. Let's get started then, shall we? That's Thai, yeah. Thank you. All right, let's get started. Okay, well, first question. The state should ensure that all citizens have universal basic income decoupled from labor performance. Yep, I wholly agree with that. Artists should have no private ownership or copyright over the works that they create. Disagree. Because I think that artists should have ownership of the work that they create, but I think the current copyright system that we have doesn't really protect artists so much as it allows huge corporations to basically squeeze money out of people. But I think there definitely does need to be some kind of copyright system, because if I make a piece of art and then someone just starts making t-shirts of it and selling it and I get nothing for it, it does kind of suck, you know? The absence of a free market economy will inevitably lead to suppression of individual rights. The absence of a free market economy will inevitably lead to suppression of individual rights. I don't think that's necessarily the only option that would come out of that. Why would that be the only option? I don't think so. No. I mean, there are other modes of being than a free market economy. Capitalism is a precondition for freedom to flourish. Don't 100% disagree. Some freedoms do flourish under capitalism, but some other freedoms definitely don't flourish under capitalism. Like, let's say you are a country in the global south, and you're like, we want to democratically elect this leftist, and they're going to nationalize our extraction industry. And then the US is like, no, they're not. Coup time, baby. So no, I don't agree with that one. There can be freedom without capitalism. There should be no such thing as private ownership of land. Partially agree. The state should be responsible for providing all citizens with basic necessities, including food, housing, medical care, and education. Yep, totally agree with that one. Yeah, land at what scale? Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Land at what scale? If, like, you having your own house and like a small place where you live, I'm okay with that. But like huge companies owning like a shit ton of buildings and that kind of stuff, I don't like that, you know? Hence why I didn't put it all the way. What was this? The state should be responsible for providing all citizens with basic necessities, including food, housing, medical care, and education. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think these are basic necessities that we need in order to live, so the government should provide them, absolutely. And I mean, one kind of way to get to that is universal basic income when it comes to kind of like food and housing, for example. Religion clouds the judgment of the masses and prevents them from seeing reality clearly. This is a tough one, because I don't like organized religion, because it is a hierarchy that I think is used very often to oppress people and to point a very dogmatic way of viewing. But at the same time, I do recognize that, you know, spirituality is very meaningful to a lot of people. Like in their personal lives, it ties a lot of communities together, and it is a way for people to bond and find, you know, even meaning in life. And I don't want to take that away from people, because like spirituality in and of itself, I don't think like clouds people's judgment necessarily. But I think when it becomes like a dogmatic hierarchy saying this is the one way to be, then it's a problem. I think I'm going to leave it in the middle. Yeah, when used for power, I agree with it. But if it's a personal thing, then I don't agree with it. I think it only clouds when there is manipulation within the religious system. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to leave it in the middle, because like, if it's personal, I'm totally okay with it. If it's like a huge system, I don't like it. Sounds like you want to answer slightly agree. I'll go for slightly agree, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. There should be 100% tax on all inheritance. Basically saying that there would be no inheritance. I don't know that would be necessary. Like, is that really, like, I don't think that would be really productive, would it? Because, like, a way more productive thing would be taxing the rich. I mean, inheritance would be one part of it, but having it at 100%? No, I don't think that would be useful. There's other forms of taxing that we should do, and we don't need to tax 100% of inheritance. Inheritance tax could also affect lower income folks inheriting houses and stuff. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't just affect rich people. It would affect everyone. No one would have inheritance, essentially. This would basically mean that there would be no inheritance. Like, this would in a way give everyone a more even out, like, starting point, because there would be no inheritance. So it's a little bit, there would be more in that way, but I don't think this is the right way to approach it. A one-party system would get rid of a lot of the nonsense in politics and lead to better decisions overall. I don't really agree with that, because, like, the one-party system I always find is, like, how do they get into power and how do they stay in power? And it's usually like, The tax also brings up questions stuff like, would jewelry or family heirlooms be taxed? Under that, I would assume everything would be taxed. I think there should be many parties because there are many different people. Yes, I agree. I think so too. I think it's kind of foolish to think that one party could encapsulate everyone. There are different types of people, and yeah, I think there should be many different parties. Are you truly a communist? That's what we're finding out here, Nikki. That's why we're doing this. I'm not for a one-party system, so I'm not a Marxist-Leninist. I think I'm more on the, like, anarchist side of the left than, like, Marxist-Leninism, which this would be, like, typical Marxist-Leninism. So I'm gonna go hard disagree on that one. The working classes across the world have more in common with each other than they do with the non-working classes of their own countries. I agree. Yeah. Totally agree. Many members of the working class who vote right-wing live in a kind of false consciousness where they do not understand their own true interests. Yes, I would say that's true. But yes, I think we don't have enough class consciousness. Yeah, most of us are anti-capitalist here, I would say. But yeah, I think many working class people don't have class consciousness because they have been taught to, like, adore the rich. And I think that, yes, they do vote for right-wing parties because I wouldn't say false consciousness is the right word, but I think they've just been taught things that are not in their interest. So, yeah, I think people just need to learn more about class. The unequal power relations between business owners and workers are inherently exploitative. In the current system, yes, I do agree. That the power relations are exploitative inherently, yes. Yes, because the whole extraction of profit is basically stealing from the workers. Like, workers don't get to decide what is done with the profit, which is something that they've produced. They have no say in that. Poverty, disease, and early death are endemic to capitalism? Poverty, yes. Like, poverty doesn't need to exist. I think so. Like, poverty definitely, but disease and early death, I wouldn't say that they're necessarily endemic to capitalism, because we had disease and death even before capitalism. I mean, arguably, we live longer now than ever because of the advances in medicine. But I don't know that, but poverty, like, definitely is an important component of capitalism. I'm gonna leave that in the middle, I'm gonna say slight disagree. Yeah, poverty can make disease and death easier, though. It's true, though. It's true. The compass is hard for people that are leftist and progressive because I strive for anarcho-syndicalism, but are the questions for the now or utopian future, like where do I stop my pragmatism? Yep, true. You can go back, but I'm too lazy. Fuck. I don't know. This is a hard one. Because, like, poverty, disease, and early... Like, I think poverty is very much, yes, that's a core part of capitalism or any exploitative system. But then, like, disease and early death were, like, we had those during feudalism, like, way more than now. So... I'm gonna go slight agree. Yeah, I think... Yeah, Mito, you make a good point. You make a good point. The state should ensure an even-handed distribution of the population across the nation's territory. No, I don't agree with that. I mean, if people want to live in a specific area, then let them live in a specific area. Because how do you ensure that people live in specific places in the country? There's only one way to do that, by forcing people to go there. So I don't really... No, I don't agree with that. Slacking is part of human nature and will only increase in societies where there is no promise of personal financial gain. Highly disagree. Highly disagree. I mean, yeah, people don't... Oh, Social Security insurance? Maybe? I don't know. But yeah, people don't... There are way more motivators for people than just money. Like, there are a lot more other motivators for people than money. So I totally disagree with this one. Money sucks, true. Money's a made-up thing. Like, it's just a made-up thing. The fact that something costs something, we just made it up. Like, it's just made up. People will not work hard in countries where they cannot get rich from their work. I disagree. Again, people are motivated by other things than just money. I think people are moving from the suburbs to the cities because of capitalism. Yep, they are. I did it to get higher education to ensure I will have a stable income. Yep, absolutely, absolutely. People are moving to big cities because of jobs. Yeah, because of industrialization. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think if we weren't so tied to jobs, a lot more people would move to more rural areas. Definitely. The state should control all aspects of economic production. Slightly agree. I think some parts of the economy should be nationalized. You know, important infrastructure like internet, electricity, water, all these things I think should be nationalized. But then some stuff like, I don't know, fucking making movies, that doesn't need to be nationalized necessarily. But yeah, so this one, I agree that we should nationalize some things, but not everything. The worth of a commodity should be determined by the amount of labor required to produce it. Yes. There should be no such thing as private ownership of businesses. I don't agree fully with that. I think there can be private ownership of businesses, but that ownership should be, like, the workers should own the businesses in the short term. In the long term, we don't need work, yada, yada, yada. But yeah, I think there can be private ownership, but it shouldn't be like this small group of people who own the companies and then the majority just works there. The internal contradictions of capitalism are so great that the free market system will eventually collapse. Yes. The workers owning the business is not private, though, isn't it? It's just... Private just means people, not the state, right? Am I wrong? My understanding was, like, the opposite of privately owned would be publicly owned, state-owned. Or am I wrong? Am I understanding that wrong? It's totally fine. Oh yeah, the internal contradiction of capitalism are so great that the free market system will eventually collapse. I think so, yeah. Because it drives people, like we've seen with the corona crisis, it's driving people into a state where they basically can't survive, and then the system collapses. So yes, I agree. All means of communication should be centralized in the hands of the state. Disagree. Highly disagree. No. 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 No, 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 no. The individual's best interests are indistinguishable from society's best interest. Some would agree. Some would agree. Yeah, I think society's best interests and the individual's best interests do align a lot. But sometimes they differ a little bit. Sometimes we have to make some sacrifices that are not like... They're not always comfortable for you. Like, hey, you have to wear a mask now. Or, hey, bars have to close now at a certain time. which is not like, I don't want that, but I understand that I have to do that so that this virus doesn't spread. So, class is a sufficiently homogeneous entity to form the basis of serious societal analysis. I disagree. I mean, class is not the only entity that we should use for societal analysis, but it is a very important part of analysis, I think. All credit and loans should be centralized in one national bank controlled by the state. This is actually something I've never really thought about. I have no idea if this would be good or bad. Chat, can you help me out with this? Not sure what to say here. Ideally, loans wouldn't be a thing. Yeah, true. But let's say like loans are a thing still. If you want to start a business or whatever, want to buy a house, I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah, I'm gonna leave this in the middle. I have no idea. I've never thought about this one. Like I don't know. Yeah, centralized bank is good. If the state does not run the bank for profit, then yeah. Okay, I'm gonna slight agree. Yeah. If it's not run for profit, then I guess it will be better. Yes. Because then you could keep the interests low. Yeah, you could keep the interests low because the goal is not profit. The goal is to support people in, big purchases, for example. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's see what we got. I am somewhat communist. Your personal agreement with communism is moderate, indicating that you support some of communism's basic principles as put forth by the classical Marxian literature. While you most likely agree with certain communist doctrines, such as the reduction of inequalities and a certain skepticism towards the free market, you most likely also find that other features of communism go a step too far towards collectivized power and control. Also, might have noticed that your degree of agreement with communism has fluctuated across your lifetime in accordance with your self-perceived status at various points in your life. Okay. Cool. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please do like, comment, and subscribe. You can do it all down there. And I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 p.m. Central European time. You can also find my link down there. Have a good one.